Good evening. A very warm welcome to our Macau Ritchie Institute Forum. I'm very honored and pleased that we have today a very distinguished speaker, Dr. Christine Lai. The title is Sustainability Through Integral and Spiritual Leadership. We have launched the Deignan Award Responsible Entrepreneurship, and during the talks in June, today with Dr. Christine Lai, and on June 29 with Professor Stephen Park, who is also with us today, we want to deepen some key aspects of what is leadership all about, what is spiritual leadership all about. The Deignan Award for Responsible Entrepreneurship inspires us to reflect on the desired qualities of a sustainable leader and organization. Hong Kong and Macau offer a unique intercultural and interfaith context in order to reflect on these Chinese wisdom traditions. I found the research of Dr. Christine Lai on various aspects of Confucian ethics extremely inspiring. I found also the background of Dr. Christine Lai, who is a practical theologian who integrates this tough business experience and also very comprehensive theological studies. She is care and wellness consultant for Hong Kong Caritas Social Services and researcher of the Hong Kong Bioethics Resource Center. Her professional doctorate of practical theology investigated midlife transformation of Christian professionals in Hong Kong. She has been continuing her research exploring spirituality of aging and integral human development. And a key topic is this Confucian term of Yuanrong. With her rich leadership experience as Asia Human Resources Director over 30 years in financial and education sectors and academic background, Dr. Lai has truly pioneered a holistic concept integrating spirituality at work and advocating integral and spiritual leadership for business organizations. So I'm really truly honored and very pleased that Dr. Christine Lai, you are among us and inspire us to reflect on these key topics of leadership. Over to you. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Father Rothland, and thank you, everyone. Especially, it is an honor to have this talk in promoting and advocating Father Deignan's Sustainability Award. Before my talk, I would like to have a very, very short silence, because I know everyone may be after whole day work and very, very busy, but it's just a short silence. Just follow my mindful breathing guidance. If you would like to just sit comfortably with your back straight, close your eyes a little bit, and just enjoy here and now by having a deep breathing. Relax your whole body and just focus on your breathing in and breathing out without thinking, and letting go all the worries, work, stress, and burden at this moment. Let us just have a short, deep breathing. At this here and now moment, we just thanks for all the blessings, to have this time together, to have our health, to have friendship, to have this community, to have Father Deignan's spirit in us, and share this topic. Today we'll share about leadership. But this leadership is not from us. It is from the higher being to empower us to be one of the leaders in this world, facing this world and living out in this world. I chose this special pictures because it's related to interconnectedness. Every day we connect to many people, to nature, to our colleagues, to our family, to our work. We need to connect to our inner self at this moment. Everyone is longing for who we are, where we are going. Where is the strength coming from? May this little silent moment give us clarity, peace, and love. Smile to yourself, to the people in the Zoom group. Yeah. And today, thanks so much for Father Rothland's invitation. I'm very glad to have this special talk. It's about leadership today, but I think leaders need to have a center and have an anchor. So just a little bit of short kind of silence. I think our sensitivity come back. Because today I would like to share, not a very academic talk, but I would like to share my own story together with some concepts and knowledge that I've been researching. But the most important thing is really to share with you it is possible to build a sustainable world through spirituality and through integral leadership. So today I'll quite a very integral approach to integrate quite a number of perspectives. I like very much on this Michelangelo creation of Adam's photo, because this photo and this beautiful painting showing we are longing to touch. We are longing to touch and reunion with God. And in many cases, in terms of our identity, we are very restless in most cases, especially in the workplace. But this journey, I think the life journey, whatever we are in the workplace, in the world, in family, it is an already but not yet journey. So yearning for the reunion with God is always in the process. But I found that this gap may be possible to fill this gap in our already but not yet journey through spirituality and integral leadership, because we are longing to become integral. And of course, I will explain what is integral later. But through this photo, we are also longing to live the heaven on earth, because on this earth we have so many voices, so many noises. How can we be living the heaven on earth? And how can we nurture our spiritual sensitivity so that we know what we are doing? So to start off, today I'll have three parts. The first part is my own story. The second part is some of the concept and knowledge, very rich knowledge that we can draw on, as well as the intercultural Chinese cultural dimension of it. Then I would like to share my real life case in terms of putting into NGO or businesses. So who am I? It was always been struggling in all my life, but then I graduated from social work at Chinese University in 1986. Then God sent me to a business world, started as a management trainee, and then became human resources director in investment bank, Asia Pacific. So I've been working in Morgan Stanley, ABN, RBS, and Pearson Education as the head of Asia Pacific HR director. So all became very smooth and successful. And then being nominated as top HR talent, won the Caring Company Champion Award for ABN-AMRO, etc. And I promoted, especially in my heart, about wellness and diversity. But my background as a social worker, as a Christian, and then I also finished the business, doctorate of business, as well as the practical theology doctorate. All that, it seems like very, very, very achievable, and it's really, everyone said, oh, you are so successful, a speaker, etc. But I have been longing to know who am I in this journey, and this searching and integral identity is, I think, at that time, it was like almost 10 years ago in my midlife stage, but of course, midlife is not defined by age. But I asked the question because these successes cannot satisfy my inner desire. And I asked questions every day about, so what? Successful husband, successful career, good husband, good family. What is the meaning? What I'm doing is really what I'm called to do? Where am I going? So I used to work in Cheung Kong building, and I always went into St. John's Cathedral in the morning, in lunchtime, afternoon, or late afternoon to pray, but just only have that silent solitude moment. And I think in that silent solitude moment, especially when I was burnt out, and also many decisions that secular value as well as the Christian value always also have conflicts. There are a lot of stress in a very competitive world, but then in that silent moment, when I ask, how can I connect all things into an integral life in this creation, God's creation, already but not yet process? How can I live in the world but not of the world? So the gaze of pure love in heart, that in that whispering of the small voice in my solitude at the St. John's Cathedral, I think I sense, and I started all of my meditation journey, but I sensed that my longing and waiting to touch God became the search for my ultimate meaning in life from midlife onwards. Midlife is just an opportunity for me to search dearly. But this is an awakening journey from material to spiritual, from external to internal, and ultimately from secular to the sacred. So this inner stirrings and yearnings became an opportunity in my crisis. The external success versus inner emptiness. We all live in tension, right? Ignatian spirituality, or the Ignatians always said we are in a tension, but this tension showing our limitation is the golden opportunity to search for hope, for eternal hope, and also many possibilities. So my Christian and secular values conflicts, social work value and business value conflicts, busyness and silence during this conflict, work as well as vocation conflict, all that came up, became an opportunity. And I read this book, Halftime, From Success to Significance by Bob Hilbert, and I attended Halftime Summit as well. And they showed me, it seems a very good model, 3 C's, core. Oh, in midlife, let's have a pause and find our strength, passion, mission, and where's our capacity, our time, our talents, our spiritual overflow, and also our context. Are we working in an organization, stay, join, or retire, or start something else, etc. But I'm not satisfied with this model because it's still a very doing model. Then I return and we connect and renew because, and it also became my practical theology thesis about midlife spiritual transformation of a midlife Christian executive. I return asking who I really am, return where I belong to, reconnect all things in life. And then I found this renewal. So this journey, my journey became my thesis, this 2012 to 2019 at Anglo-Ruskin University, Cambridge Theology Federation, spiritual transformation of a midlife Christian professional in Hong Kong through a spiritual practice model. And this model, I used Ignatian spirituality, theology, as well as Buddhist mindful breathing as the core to invite 6 midlife Christian executives. And they went through 8 weeks spiritual meditation and journaling, and with the theme of connecting to self, the past, critical incidents in life, people, and God. And then the findings, the 3 themes finding from this research is connectedness, discernment, and transformation. But today I'm not talking about my thesis, but my midlife struggle is trying to become more holistic and integral. So this story about my midlife story is a calling, and when this calling, the gladness, deepest gladness is when our gifts meet the world's greatest needs is our calling. And so and I became gradually after 2019 and now trying to help and support people and organizations to connect self, others, family, nature. I'm working right now as spiritual advisor in integral wellness consultant for Caritas, teaching spirituality, and also researcher at Margaret Beaufort, Cambridge Theology Institute and Bioethics Resource Center. But this integral is not coming from nowhere. It's just my thinking. It's really grounded in a very, very strong theological foundation. So I'd like to share with you this knowledge and this concept. Integral human development, there's certain assumption, of course, the wholeness amidst the brokenness and brokenness amidst the wholeness in this world or in the workplace. Maybe we can see in the workplace context, I've been working 30 years in very competitive work environment, success, performance, productivity, but there are a lot of hurts and wounds. But at the same time, there's also, we can shift the paradigm, we can have meaning, hope, and joy. The spiritual ground, the workplace is a spiritual ground and grant us the power and platform to find meaning and calling. So the Catholic social teaching, which I'll explain later, about integral human development is a very important anchor that can help us to find this sustainable and spiritual leadership. And of course, I would like to share a little bit also about the Chinese cultural dimension of IHD, integral human development. Cardinal Turkson is the director of the dicastery of IHD appointed by Pope Francis. And he said, the suffering in this modern world. We are living in a world overemphasizing on economic growth, productivity, and outcome. Human beings become the tools to fulfill these capitalistic values and goals. We are lost on physical or materials world, and deepest desire, longing for who we are. So what is integral human development? Of course, there are certain history. Today, I just extracted the core themes of the development of integral human development by different popes for teaching about related integral human development. Cardinal Pearson, of course, appointed as the director and talk about integral life. Paul VI, IHD in Popularum Progressio, talk about deep roots in a humanistic approach influenced by Vatican II human interdependence and common good. And Pope Benedict expands it in Caritas Veritate. And Pope Francis in Laudato Si, of course, talked about Christian humanism. But the theological evolution of IHD from Benedict XVI has placed IHD at the center of Catholic social teaching for our times. He focused on the goal of human flourishing, questioning anything that hinders this objective. And development should be holistic and person-centered. And IHD should be grounded on the truth that's about being human, that we are made and loved by God. And so the development is not simply an economic process, it is a call to respond to God's love. The Catholic teaching of IHD also, human development integrates different dimensions, not only one dimension, the dimension of theological, spiritual, psychological, sociological, political, economical, and ecological. IHD share the holistic development of human person, covering all aspects of life, social life, economic, political, cultural, personal, and spiritual. But the most important key word is integral. It is the whole concept of IHD, especially when we appreciate the process of growing older, aging, life, and development. So I'm trying to extract IHD related to leadership. From the IHD concept to leadership, integral and wholeness, everything connected, becoming process. What is integral and wholeness? Only humanity can achieve wholeness with purpose. Integral development is the right balance among all components of life, horizontal and vertical growth. And this integral and wholeness is the product of long process of evolution and divine creation. So human grows into the perfection of God. Pope Francis in Laudato Si talk about everything is connected, leads to a fundamental question for modern societies, economies, politics, and the ways of life. Integral ecology concept addresses self-identity, relations with self and God. So through the lens of IHD, when we reflect on work, it's about what is the meaning in life? What is the interconnectedness with all living things, or awareness of transcendent dimension of being? It is also have a component of becoming. The work of creation is a process. God wants us to experience all things, including ups and downs, joy and suffering. Suffering and evils as a development and reality to experience so as to draw us to cooperate with the Creator. And Pope Francis also develops positive progress, process of war, as a continuing work of creation. Christian spirituality of a prophetic and contemplative lifestyle connected with the understanding of quality of life. So we should have a quality of life, correlates integral progress above all with an improvement in quality of life. It includes health, viable social relationships, particularly within the families. So let's take a look at the Chinese cultural traditions, because we are living in an intercultural context. Why intercultural focus and why I'm so interested in it? Because I think we have a very rich Chinese tradition while interacting with this Western concept in a Hong Kong intercultural context. And the richness of Chinese wisdom and tradition may reflect and give us a new or deeper integral meaning in life, work, society, and organization. Let's take a look at this word, integral. It is an essential concept in Buddhism and later popularized to describe fully integrated and harmonized. Yuan, literally, round, circle, full, and complete circle. Rong, meaning dissolved, assimilated, interconnected, fully assimilated. Yuanyong, we translated integrate into the Chinese word yuanyong, and which means separate and independent, yet integrated and interconnected. That's an analogy in a Buddhism example story that we have many lights in a dark room. When we turn on the light, there are many lights, but then it's melted into a very harmonious light. So like everyone members in the society, everyone members in a workplace became one. And this is when Yuanyong. So no one should be neglected in the whole circle or in harmony. So the insights, what are these insights give us in terms of the Chinese cultural dimension? I think implication of the Yuanyong, this popular concept extends to meaning of all-rounded way of self-actualization through a relationship with self and the world and others. The full and harmonious fulfillment of life as individual, even with differences, may be integrated to develop personal or spiritual ways of living. We can reconcile or transcend contradictions and conflicts. And I try to adopt this intercultural implications of IHD in different aspects. Reconcile tension and conflicts. Western concept of IHD, Chinese concept of Yuanyong, share with us how individuals can resolve in spirituality the tension and the conflicts of his life or her life while connecting with self, others, world, and nature. The spiritual meaning of life and connectedness with all parts of life, with nature, heaven, God, and our past, transcend suffering and tension. And when everything is connected, can be in harmony. The Catholic teaching of IHD is talk about holistic relationship with self, others, God, and restore harmony. The Chinese Yuanyong also connects self, family, society, and heaven to achieve the fulfillment of life. And it is also a process of becoming and experiencing. IHD talk about the process of becoming the right balance among components of lives, while Chinese Yuanyong is a process of addressing different challenges in relationship to create harmony when melting into one. So especially family and intergenerational harmony, although today I may not speak too much about it until later, end of June, our aging conference. Cardinal talks about intergenerational solidarity echoes Confucian teaching. Chinese Yuanyong integrality comes from all, especially family and intergenerational relationship. And these relationships enhance the right balance of human and becoming whole. And I try to use this integral or Yuanyong in a leadership when transcending tension and struggle is basically we are living in the very disequilibrium places or world. We stress on productivity while the human nature may be neglected or marginalized. The IHD and Yuanyong connecting positive and negative experiences of life like struggle, pain, suffering, despair at work and life, but also discover hope when we can connect with humanity, heaven, God, and team. How can we create a workplace with connectedness, humanism, and compassion? While we transcend through spirituality of IHD or Yuanyong, Christianity talk about connecting self, reconcile past, return to the Creator, and respond to God's divine calling. Buddhism talk about letting go, compassion of self and others. Confucianism talk about union of humanity and heaven. Is a human relationship. So what really makes a spiritual leader? As a construct of leadership style, the notion of spiritual leadership comprises vision, hope, faith, altruistic love, to describe a competent leader who motivates himself or herself and followers via a sense of spiritual survival through calling and membership, to seek meaning in their life and make a difference in society. Okay, after looking at my own story, IHD concept, and let's take a look. I do realize it's not so perfect, right, in our world. And then let's take a look of some practices, and it is possible to practice. And I'm trying to, from this theory to practice, how to apply IHD, this teaching into, first example, integral wellness and care culture. And this is a movement to promote the theory and practice of integral wellness and culture in order to address spiritual needs. And I create a 4-hour model in some of my workshops. Reconnect, reconcile, restore, and rest. Well, we can have a space or like very short meditation to reconnect ourselves, others, nature, and with God. We can reconcile quite a lot of experience coming up or memories coming up to seek for forgiveness or reconcile with our past. To restore the original creation of this true self, it is a critical step trying to fill the gap between God and humanity. But we need to rest in harmony of peace and hope. So the journey of spiritual leaders is anchoring on spirituality and IHD. The insight of these 4 hours and the real life towards an integral care and wellness. And I'm also trying to integrate the concept into practice, and I'll show later about this topic. There's some models that I'm trying to integrate the 4 hours into an integral care culture. Create the workplace as a platform to review ultimate meaning of life. This is finding personal vision and mission and insights to develop an integral culture together. But we have to face the reality. Christine, of course, this very perfect concept. But let's take a look at the contrast. In the right-hand side, the secular world or the leadership, or even right now, nowadays, a lot of companies doing CSR or trying to tick the box, a checklist of fulfilling listed company checklist, but they are still putting people into functional segregation of duties, while IHD integral leadership is trying to be integral and wholeness. Secular world focus on specialization, individualization, while in the integral leadership, we focus on everything's connected. One team. The short-term outcome is a reality because we don't have time, because productivity, outcome, performance is so important. But IHD is talking about becoming process, a long-term approach. In this world, we focus on quantitative numbers, results, performance, outcome, while IHD is talking about meaning, quality of life. So how are we going to fill this gap? And is it possible? Let's take a look. I'm trying to share some of the practices. Some are continuous undoing, some are past experiences that I've been promoting, realizing this integral leadership and organization for future sustainability. And maybe we can have a new perspective, a new dimension to look at it. First, I'd like to share Caritas, family service. The head of family service or the social service unit point me as an integral care and consultant, this word that I created because I anchors in IHD to help the supervisors in a very, very stressful burnout stage. A lot of people may be living for retirement, emigration, etc., etc. Then how can we come to a care and wellness culture? And I'm trying to adopt the IHD concept into it. So just to share some of the workshops and some of the key themes that I've been doing and to define spiritual care in the meaning of life and meaning of care are integral whole. And I created this model and I share with the supervisors. We have quite a number of workshops. Some are more retreat type, some are experiential art, but we are also sharing and discussing about this model that I'm trying to create about care, the carer and the cared. The carer, maybe self, maybe social worker, maybe teacher, maybe I'm a caretaker in the family, but the self needs to be taken care of before we care other people. While we care about self, we need to have an inner transformation. The first level of transformation and growth, and the second level, then we can serve and action. So this core level, also the whole self, as well as the carer and the cared, is trying to address the ultimate meaning of life and the purpose of life, no matter whether they are aging group, whether they are leaders, their workplace, subordinates. So the care need to have care in compassion and love. So in a right-hand side, while I can empower myself as a holistic well-being, then I can care other people, understand their spiritual needs or sensitive about their needs as of our target audience. So the mission, care for the cared and care for self, is I'm trying to create this integral care into Caritas as well as in other places. So this is the spiritual care for the world and oneself. Let's take a look of what we have done in some of the workshop. I also link up this concept into strategy and result. The integral leaders with care in Caritas. One of the success factors is every single members, no matter what levels, is an integral part of the whole. To be one with hope and vision, and everyone is accountable altogether to all the other people. And working in one and unity. I asked them the questions. As social work, how can we having love and care to the clients, colleagues, if we do not have a clear vision and meaning and purpose? How can we face all the challenges together when we lack of inner strength? How can we care others when we don't care of ourselves? So, and then we also discuss about a 5-year strategy, turning the strategy into sustainable future through one integral team. And the leader's mission is to support colleagues to find who I am, where I'm going, how to embrace my strength, where is my strength coming from, and then integrate. If the personal mission and organization mission can be aligned, I think that the organization, as well as the self, as well as the people, can be flourished. And there's also measurable transformation and changes through changes in the lives of people, not only changes in number. What is common good? Organizational change in terms of values, clear mission and vision, not only hang on the wall, associated with organizational performance, and also behavioral change, new attitude and practices to look at what we are doing. So the leaders need to walk in one and unity, need to walk with the colleagues, need to walk with the team together. So we discuss about me, my meaningful life and legacy at Caritas, me and Caritas as a big organization, and then my unit, my team, my group, family service, me as carer and the cared, me and the going forward mission. Because if we cannot clarify and discuss all these questions, we are just work and do the tasks. And that's why we have all the output, but burnout. We don't have any input because we don't know, and we are not really aligning or internalizing what we are doing. So the spiritual authentic leader, I think, needs to have this personal mission and hope to inspire people to have their personal mission and hope. And also the personal interpretation of vision and mission may be very different or at different levels, different perspectives to interpret the organization vision and mission. And it is okay, we can have different levels, different dimensions to interpret, and it becomes really like in a room, many lights melting into one. So my way of empowering self every day, what is the way of empowering self? What is the way of empowering the team? Do I know others' way and work towards this hope? So this interconnectedness of who we are, why we are doing what we are doing every day are the way to create a better world and create an intimate team every day. So this model connecting, or it is integral fulfillment, self, others, high being, is a model trying to think through. It's so important for long-term success. And I found Caritas Australia use integral human development is all their program, and as an overarching approach in all their programs. They said integral human development is the holistic development of all the human person, covering all aspects of life, social, economic, political, cultural, personal, and spiritual. And it's very, very easy. While you see a colleague coming back, whether late at work, no mood, no energy. Maybe his or her family, maybe his, going through a lot of personal or spiritual questions. So people or human being is holistic. You cannot just define them as a job description holder or an objective performance evaluation holder. So another example I'd like to share to promote integral or leadership is through diversity and inclusion. And when I worked at ABN-AMRO, on the caring company logo, but the most important is creating diversity, wellness, and engagement of heart of the people. I'm not trying to show a lot of work activities. We have an employee engagement committee composed of all the units, not HR, and then they create their own needs by different areas, whether personal, social, society, volunteers, in a workplace environment, etc., etc. But this integral, I think, through diversity and inclusion is very important, because diversity and inclusion has a very important basic belief and value behind integral. And I'm the Asia Diversity Awareness Champion, and we create international cross-cultural team because different countries got different issues, different identification of diversity and inclusion topic or issues, whether gender, age, culture, etc. But this strategy and culture, it starts from oneself, of our awareness. But awareness is, I need to have a feeling, and I'm being hurt. Or very clear example, my mom fell when I was working in ABN-AMRO, the first falling that she has, and went into hospital for 2 weeks. And I have to adjust my time, and then flexible working hours, but our company do not have flexible working hours policy. My boss very kind enough to let me to do that. But then I asked, why me? And how about young graduates? They have different needs. How about young mother just have babies? How about people preparing retirement? They have different needs. How about women? How about men? Etc. etc. Then we started to think about awareness and the concern. And also because of my mom, I'm very aware of going to the street and the people just rushing and pushing elderly, and I have to protect her. So then I found we care while we are hurt, while we are wounded. So diversity is so a respect. How can we be inclusive, like integral, right? Every one member, every part is important. So, but diversity and inclusion is not a word or a program. It has to be lived out in everyday life. How to live out and believe this equality, peace, integral part of every individual, no matter what gender and age. Give you an example of a British UK colleague coming for short-term assignments. While we have dim sum lunch, all the other colleagues are Chinese speaking. Then they started to talk about Cantonese, Chinese eating, and basically ignore that British colleague. Then I asked colleagues, if you are living in London or New York, and everyone, or maybe in a strange different foreign country, you don't know the language, and everyone just ignore you, how will you feel? So even one of the member that cannot be included in your lunch, in your team, then we are really disrespect that person. So I think we need to live out and show what is diversity and inclusion. And we need to learn also, because we need to be educated and learn what is the value and principle behind what really hurts. Engage the human heart, not task. I think engagement is about engaging the heart and sharing the stories and experience of failures and obstacles. And I just found out today, a McKinsey report is a very, very timely report, and I love this report and can share with you later. How to be a 21st century CEO, how leaders seize the moment in COVID-19, but they did a research. But one of the also findings, return after COVID-19, we turn to be strongest, focus on the workforce well-being and individual purpose and contribution. And in that report, of course, there are many different important elements, but the two very important elements: to fulfill my personal purpose at work, while connecting people to something bigger than themselves, while living their purpose at work. If we can do that, There are 4 times higher engagement and 5 times higher their well-being from the research. Of course, the other areas is about achieving work goals, balance of work and private life, create and maintain culture that values inclusion, individuality, and social harmony. So, and also embody purpose to the culture. How can we share stories of colleagues who are embodying purpose through period of crisis? Now is the time to celebrate and create role models of those who are living their purpose. Start a longer-term conversation about purpose. Begin the hard work of defining or revisiting organization purpose now, and embed purpose by moving from why to how, in linking employees to a clear purpose. So this a purpose-driven culture is exactly the research showing the 21st century CEO. I also like to share, it's almost at the end, this already but not yet journey is the IHD in practice and research is an ongoing journey, and I've continuing doing it in different areas that I will share with you. Integral leadership in NGO and business. Spirituality and IHD can be also adopted in aging, which we'll have the June 25th and 26th Aging Conference, intergenerational context, and integral care and wellness of the elderly. Just to share, in 2021, I shared in the Oxford McDonald Center conference presenting Spirituality of Integral Human Development for Aging in Intercultural Hong Kong and Intergenerational Real Life Story. I shared about filial piety with my 98 years old mom, late mother, 4 generations relationship, how she connected everything. She lived with us her last 5 years while she had a big falling, and how she saw the generations, different generations, and made her feel loved, but also connecting, talking a lot of her stories, past, critical people, critical incidents. That exactly is the integral aging to harmony in the family. And then in Yuanrong Study Society and Margaret Beaufort webinar, which has been done since 2021 in the intercultural dialogue, I present about nurturing intercultural, integral care and wellness in spirituality of aging. And in that topic, respondent is Father Joseph Tam. It's about spirituality of aging. And how can we integrate concept and practice? It's a movement of raising awareness and building interdisciplinary knowledge on spiritual care, which I'm talking about June 25th and 26th, Hong Kong Bioethics Resource Center annual conference about spiritual care. And this the topic that we translated to Chinese, but in English, spiritual care for aging well, living well, and dying well, a Catholic spiritual response. We have done 6 focus groups, social workers, priests, doctors, nurses, religious people, congregation, to discuss 3 questions. What is spiritual care? What are the means to deliver spiritual care, and what are the challenges? And then we have create a survey with 2,000 questionnaires coming back, and we'll share in the conference about suffering, aging, after death, and dying. So these are some of the conference. It was at first in March, but because of COVID, we changed to June 25th and 26th. The purpose of this conference: raise awareness of spirituality in care and aging, frame and understand definition of spirituality of aging by adopting IHD towards integral aging, connect and dialogue among multiple stakeholders, discuss what and how to address spiritual needs and means, and mobilize a movement. We believe after this conference, we can publish, we can go to the churches to talk about quite a lot of educational topics, because while we send questionnaires, a lot of midlife to aging people are longing to know more about how spirituality can help our life, our aging. And this is a research continuously in Margaret Beaufort, an intercultural, interfaith approach of adopting IHD in spirituality of aging in Hong Kong with the research questions. So in order to fill the gap, I think this integral meaning of life is so important. And last but not least, I'd like to share the TED Talk of Pope Francis, The Future You in Vancouver 2017. And he said about interconnectedness. While looking at tomorrow, it invites us to open a dialogue today to look at the future through you. The future is made of you because life flows through our relations with others. Everything is connected, and life is about interactions. None of us is an independent I. We can only build a future by standing together, including everyone. How to be in the world and taking part in God's mission on earth. And I think this is addressed to sustainability and leadership by witnessing empowerment, transformation, and liberation. Like Luke 4:18 said, the Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, and to set oppressed free. Matthew 25, for I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. So I hope we can continue Deignan's legacy, Father Deignan's legacy in this sustainability award by living the heaven on earth through integral life and his creation. Thank you.